Hey everyone, it's Kevin in Texas coming at you on this very hot June day. Hopefully you're doing well whenever and wherever you're at. So a lot of news about the war in Ukraine. And probably the biggest news from that part of the world was that 3 men, 2 of them British nationals, 1 of them a Moroccan national, were given the death sentence in the Donetsk People's Republic recently due to their involvement in the Ukraine war. The 3 men in question were Aden Aslan and Sean Penner from the United Kingdom, as well as Sadan Brahim from Morocco. And they were captured and sentenced to death in the Donetsk People's Republic, which formerly was a part of eastern Ukraine. And as of right now, I'm calling on both sides of this equation, actually all sides of this equation, to hit the pause button and to open themselves up to prisoner swaps, to trading the prisoners of war. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but because it's also a first step towards getting a peace agreement in place, which is something that is desperately needed. So firstly, I call on the government of the United Kingdom to engage with the Donetsk People's Republic. I know you do not recognize that political entity, but you have at least 2, probably more of your nationals being sentenced to death there. So I strongly advise you to deal with the DPR, deal directly with the Donetsk People's Republic. Don't say you're working with the Ukraine because the Ukraine is at war with the DPR. That's not going to work. You need to go directly to the source and begin negotiating with the DPR. I also call on the Donetsk People's Republic to consider this prisoner exchange, to be open to a prisoner swap, and more importantly, to consider the idea of clemency until such a prisoner swap can be negotiated. I don't understand what it's like to live in a war zone for 8 years. I'll be the first to admit it. I have no idea what it's like to be constantly shelled, bombarded, have your people murdered, raped, killed for no reason whatsoever, to have civilians murdered for no reason whatsoever. I have no idea what it's like. I hope to never find out. Having said that, I don't want your first act on the international stage to be one of death, and to hand out death sentences, and to have that be the first thing that people think of when they think of the DPR. So I urge you to consider the idea of clemency. Let that first big decision on the international stage be one of mercy, be one of patience, and be one of an openness to the exchange of prisoners, to a first step towards a possible peace agreement. And in a larger sense, I call on the Western powers to stop throwing money and weaponry into the Ukrainian war zone. Now is not the time for more war and more chaos and more confusion. Now is the time to put an end to this, to stop the war, to negotiate a reasonable peace settlement, and to end this bloodshed. It's time to end the war. And it's time to bring the boys back home. This is Kevin in Texas saying God bless each and every one of you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.